All right, so in this example, I just want to go over a few different widgets. We provided a lot of different widget examples, as you can see here. There's no real point in going over all of them, but I did want to go over a few just so you can kind of get a general sense of how you add widgets. Again, the easiest way to do this is to look for examples, so go into the documentation, the sandbox and stuff that they offer, find the widget you're interested in, and then pull that example into your code and try to manipulate it to get it to do what you want to do. All right, so generally to add a widget, you're going to have to connect to the module that provides that widget. So here, this is a legend. So I'm connecting to the legend module there, adding it to my list. This is just setting up my symbology. We'll skip over that for now. We already went over that. What we're looking at that's new here is just this section here at the bottom. So I'm basically wrapping this in a view when. I believe that's so that it allows the page to load basically before it loads. So anyway, this is specifying the legend. So it's going to get placed inside of the view, which is defined in the map view here. I noticed I didn't set like a position here yet or added it, so we'll look at that in a second. And then this is the layer that I wanted to show. I just wanted to show this feature layer, and I'm not showing a title, so I'm just leaving that blank. And then down here at the bottom, I basically add the legend to the viewport using view.ui.add. UI is like user interface, and I'm telling it to add to the bottom right, and that's how you get the legend. Okay, so let's look at a few other examples. Let's give a good example. Let's look at the base map gallery next. So I'm just going to look at a handful of these again, not all of them. So let's go live with this. All right, so this adds a base map gallery, as you can see here, so you can switch the base maps around. So if we go down here again, we're connecting to this base map gallery module, adding it to our list. And then down here is where we actually define the object. So base map gallery equals new base map gallery. And then we add that into the viewport using view.ui.add. And I'm now doing it at the top right. Note that this comes in automatically expanded. You may want to have some widgets that collapse, and that's what the expand widget is for. So let's look at an example of the expand widget. So we'll look at that. And let me kill this, and we'll start the new one. Okay, so now you can see up here in the corner, I have this layer list widget. But now it's inside of this expand widgets, and it's collapsed when it loads initially. So here's how I set that up. So now I'm adding in some modules. So I need layer list and expand. So that's what allows for this functionality. And then down here, I basically define the layer list object. So in the view, and then this is the container. And then down here, I set up the expand widget, and I note what I want, or I note what I want it to contain. And it's going to contain this layer list object that I created. Basically, this is saying it's just creating a div for this object within the viewport. Okay, and then also you can change the icons that are used. So I'm just using a zoom in and zoom out, which may not be the best icon for this. Note that Esri has a bunch of different icons that are available for different use cases. So, and then lastly here, again, I'm just adding that expand widget to the div, or the viewport. All right, let's look at one more before we move on. Sorry. Let's see, what's another good one? Let's look at swipe. We'll do that one. That'll be our last example. All right, so again, we'll stop this. Start it again. All right, so this is this is a swipe widget where we can swipe between two layers. So again, you could use this to maybe compare data sets or look at change over time. So for example, this is Morgantown. So we can swipe here and see like this whole area is changed into like a shopping center over time. Actually, never mind. Let me find a better example. This is what I was looking for. So this is you can see how that's changed there over time. All right, so setting up a swipe tool is pretty easy. So I'm loading in tile layer because I need to have because I need to be able to read in raster tile layers. I'm also going to use a layer list widget that's up here, collapsed. And because we collapsed it, I also had to add the expand module. And then we're setting up this swipe, so I had to add swipe. And again, we're setting up those all in the same order there. Okay, so we have two layers. We have this NAPE, and then we have this SAMB layer. So we're linking the URL saying that we can read in either JPEG or PNG versions of the data. Then I create a map with an OSM base map, and I add those layers to it. And then create the view and add the map to the view. And then down here, I'm setting up my widgets. So the first thing is I'm setting up my layer list. And then I set up my expand, and I add the layer list into the expand widget, and then add that to the user interface. So that's what gives us this. Okay, and then the swipe widget, we basically just need to do create a swipe widget. And then we want a leading layer, which is generally the one on top, which was the NAPE one. And then a trailing layer, which was the SAMB layer, the older imagery. And then the 35 is the position of the swipe when it initially loads. So if I refresh this, you can see it's not really in the middle. It's like 35% across. So if you wanted to change that, you would change that here. And again, we're just setting it up in the view, and then we add it to the user interface. Okay, so this one had a few widgets. So we had an expand widget that holds the layer list, and we loaded into images and then set up a swipe widget so you could swipe between them. Again, there's lots of different widgets that you can use. You just kind of want to find the documentation associated with that widget, load, and you can generally manipulate that into your code to get it to work. Just kind of figure out where it goes in the flow and how to call your layers and whatnot.